And I know it's been a while since I did a video, and also I had a lot going on this week. I know these videos are kind of late, but in this video, I'll be talking about the Wendy Williams biopic. I just got through rewatching the Wendy Williams biopic on my DVR a few minutes ago, and it was good and entertaining. Some parts I missed on the original one, that's why I DVR'd it, and I'm glad I did rewatch it. It started off with Wendy in her dressing room at the Wendy Williams show, talking to her stylist and her makeup artist, and then she kind of flashed back to when she was a child, and she was going to this neighborhood birthday party, and she was getting ready to go to the birthday party when she couldn't button up her dress, so her mom asked her older sister to help her button up her dress, and she said, "Well, I'll help her button up her dress." And then Wendy said, "No, no, I'll do it myself," because Wendy had a hard time buttoning up her dress because as a child, Wendy was kind of a heavy set child, and so she had a hard time buttoning up her clothes and stuff like that. And so when Wendy got to the birthday party, she thought she was going to have a good time at the birthday party with the girls, but they just wanted to make fun of Wendy, and Wendy didn't like that, and she said she would never let anybody shame and humiliate her anymore. And then her parents put her on a diet. Her mother put her on a diet of tuna and water, and then her daddy was saying, "Well, you know, if you go on a diet and lose some weight, you might feel better." They didn't know how to handle that situation with Wendy Williams. Some parents don't realize that they think they're sending loving messages to their child, but they're actually giving their child a self doubt about themselves. And I think that's when Wendy developed this self doubt about herself, and her self esteem problem started with her parents as a child. Then it flashed to the next scene where Wendy had got her first radio job at Hot 97, and she was doing good at Hot 97. And she was working at one radio show part-time and then another radio show full-time. And in order to keep up with that overnight full-time job, Wendy started using cocaine, and she started using cocaine regularly and stuff like that. And so after that, she was interviewing this hot rapper who was hot back in the 90s. His name was Ricky Tony, and she interviewed him and she asked him, was he gonna have an after party after his release album? And he said, yeah, he's gonna have a after party. And she said, oh, okay, I want to go to the after party. And then he said, well, yeah, we can go to the after party. He said, but first I gotta go and change clothes. He said, well, do you think I should change clothes too? He said, no, you look fine, Wendy. So Wendy went to his hotel room with him while he changed clothes. He gave Wendy a drink, and when Wendy looked up again, he had come out of the restroom with nothing on but a towel. And then Wendy was kind of shocked and surprised, and her eyes, and she was saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" And next thing you know, he had date raped Wendy, and so when he got through raping Wendy, he told Wendy, "You know what to do. Leave." And it was like he treated Wendy like she was a piece of trash or a prostitute that he had just went with. And it was just like Wendy was so shamed and traumatized by that. And I think that's why Wendy went full force into her career, because she said she wasn't going to never let anybody do anything like that to her again. And so after that, Wendy started dating this R&B singer called Eric B. She dated him for a couple of months, and then she let him borrow her car, and he didn't bring her car back in time enough for her to go to work, so she had to rent a cab. I mean, she had to get a cab, and so after that, he didn't bring the car back to the rental company because she had rented him a car so he could have a car to use, and then she could have a car to use. And then after he messed up her credit and didn't want to bring the car back to the car rental people were coming after Wendy, and so she broke up with Eric B. And after that situation, she didn't date anybody for a while. She was just working and doing cocaine, and then some kind of way she said something that she was not supposed to say on the radio show, and the program director told her that they were going to suspend her. for a couple of days or whatever. And then when Wendy came back, Wendy said, "Well, when I get off suspension, are you gonna hire me back?" And she said, "I don't know. I might hire you back. I might not hire you back." And she told the program director, "Well, if you're not gonna hire me back, why don't you just fire me?" She said, "No, I'm not that stupid. I'm not gonna fire you when you can go run off to another radio station." So Wendy eventually did go to another radio station. She left that radio station and moved to Philly, where she quickly got a job at a radio station in Philly. It was a radio station that that she really wanted, that she worked at, and she did a good job at that radio station. And then it was like after 2 years, that radio station fired Wendy too, and then Wendy moved back to New York. And then when Wendy moved back to New York, she called her old boss, and she wanted to work at this radio station. And she sat in the lobby for a couple of weeks, and then that program director hired Wendy to fill in for another DJ, and they liked Wendy so much that they hired Wendy regularly. And then Wendy was on a regular she had a regular gig in the morning with two other DJs, and that worked pretty well. But then Wendy started talking about celebrity gossip and stuff, and they didn't like that. And so they gave Wendy her own show, and then Wendy had her own show, and she was talking a whole lot of stuff about celebrities and stuff. And the program director was warning her because he was saying a lot of celebrities didn't want to come on the show and promote their stuff, and she was really talking about the girl group Total so bad, and stuff like that. The girl group Total so bad, and stuff, and Wendy was talking about that girl group and other celebrities. And then it flashed to Wendy going to the club with this DJ, promoting all kind of events. And that's when she met Kevin. And then the DJ gave Kevin's number. And then Wendy waited a couple of days, and then she called Kevin, and then she told Kevin that if he was interested in her, he should meet her at the radio station. And so he did meet her at the radio station that night. And as you know, the rest is history. Kevin and Wendy started dating and stuff. And then Wendy got pregnant from Kevin. She lost the first baby. Then she had a second baby from Kevin. She lost that baby. And then she had a third baby from Kevin. And that baby was stillborn. So Wendy was having problems conceiving children and having babies. And so she changed doctors. And then she went to another doctor. And the doctor told her, because of her thyroid problems and she having a weak cervix, that's why she couldn't carry a baby. And so when Wendy found that out, she went back and got pregnant with Kevin. And so while she was pregnant with Kevin, she did a radio show from her house, and it was a big hit. And then after Kevin was born, Wendy started noticing that Big Kevin, was getting a whole lot of phone calls, and she was saying, "Who's calling you? Who's calling you?" He said, "Ain't nobody." And she says, "Who's calling you?" He says, "It's not anybody. It's just somebody that I used to date a long time ago, and she's still calling, bothering me. I broke up with her a long time ago." And Wendy said, "Okay, but why is she still calling?" He said, "I don't know. I don't want to be bothered with her." And then she kept on calling. And then Wendy said, "Well, who is that calling now?" He said, "I don't know. I don't want to be bothered with people." And then he finally told Wendy that it was Dunmore and Mercury calling about a TV show. And she said, "Well, you're my manager now. Why come you didn't tell me that they were calling about a TV show?" He said, "They wanted you to do a TV show with Monique." He said, "I think you should do a TV show by yourself, have your own TV show." And on that part, I do agree with Kevin. Back then, Wendy Williams and Monique wouldn't have lasted on a talk show together, because both of them have big personalities, and both of them are out there, and that wouldn't have worked. So in that respect, he was right about that. But then Wendy eventually got her show, and like I said earlier, she was talking trash about Total and a lot of celebrities, and then she was getting ready to leave the radio station, because I think the program director had warned her about talking about celebrities and saying that Puffy was calling the radio station and other people and stuff. And so as Wendy was getting ready to walk out with her assistant, she seen the police and all those people around, and her assistant told her to stay in the building because Total was out with the girl group. Total was out there, and they were going to beat Wendy's tail. And so Wendy stayed back, and as Wendy tried to come out, that's when Kevin intervened and came in and ran off the girl group Total and stuff like that. And so Kevin looked like he was Wendy's savior at that time. And so Wendy and Kevin was doing pretty good until after Wendy on her again with another woman, and she told him that this is going to be the last time he was going to lose her. And so Kevin promised Wendy that he wasn't going to cheat on her, but Kevin was still cheating on Wendy. Even though he promised not to cheat on Wendy, he was still cheating on Wendy all during that time. And then it flashed to 2016, where Wendy was supposed to be having some kind of business meeting with her staff, and then they were waiting on Kevin, and Wendy was saying, "Okay, Kevin will be late. Let's just go on and start the meeting." Kevin walked in the door, and then Wendy said, "Kevin, you were supposed to be here at a certain time. You're late. What's going on?" And he got to fussing at Wendy and pushing chairs around and chucking stuff, chucking papers and stuff on the floor. And it was rumored that Wendy's staff never did like Kevin. And then he threw the papers on the floor and said, "Yeah, I'm on time now," and walked right out of the office. And Wendy looked so ashamed, embarrassed in front of all of her staff and members. And then it flashed to 2017, where Wendy fainted on stage in the Halloween costume. And she always saying that she fainted because she got overheated in that costume, but we all know that Wendy fainted because she was under tremendous stress of going through that marriage. And so after that, Wendy was put into the sober house by Kevin. And in the sober house, Wendy could not have any access to any phones or TV or newspapers or anything like that. And so Wendy didn't like that, and she was going back and forth to the sober house. She kind of mentioned that on the show when she came back. But anyway, she finally got somebody to give her a phone at the sober house. And so when they gave her a phone at the sober house, that's when she found out that Kevin was living with Sharina. And not only was he living with Sharina was pregnant from Kevin. And Wendy was so upset about that. And she got a chance to leave the sober house. And when she got a chance to leave the sober house, she told her mom and dad what she was going to do and how she was going to plan out things and stuff like that. And so Wendy got with her lawyer and her publicist, and they talked about what she was going to do as far as her planning and leaving Kevin. And then Wendy filed for a divorce from Kevin. And Wendy filed for a divorce from Kevin, and they were going back and forth in court for a while. And then Wendy finally came back to her show, and she was saying she was feeling better and she was happier and she was stronger. And I'm so glad that Wendy is a little bit more happier and stronger. And I'm glad she left Kevin, and I'm glad Wendy is doing okay right now. This is A. Wesley. That ain't New Tested Like a T.I. is. I am out.